Paradise Lost might be a weird game to be my first in this series, but it's a good example of why I want to create these videos. I was given an early access copy to play on stream, and at the time there weren't any reviews, but I didn't want any to gauge my opinions prior anyway, and I personally loved it. I was searching answers about a past that I seemed to know as little about as my virtual self, and at every turnabout I came up with a new theory for what was really going on. I was rarely correct. The graphics are frankly second to none, at the time of recording anyway. I kept staring at like random things like a chair or a beam of light. The audio, too, made me feel really grounded in this world as it unfolded from area to area, each connected to the last, but distinctly different. Echoes dripping from rocks, chambers, clinking on the metal of close cargo cabins, all added to the deep feeling of presence in a story that required thought and presence to enjoy. I played through this game in one sitting, handedly enjoyed my time, and actually left a Steam review, which is something that in the past I'd only done for games that I either really enjoyed or just really didn't. But since this was a game that I was one of the first to play, and I was going to be one of like 3 reviews at the time, it felt like it was the least I could do for allowing me to explore this beautiful world that they'd created. Fast forward to a week or two later, someone mentioned that they were surprised to see that I'd played the game. They too played it, loved it, left a review, but they seemed to be the minority. And curious, I checked the Steam reviews, and sure enough, it had mixed reviews, like a nearly 50% total, which in my mind when I compare it to other games is basically a death sentence. Shocked? I read review after review, frankly, of just bad opinions. It seemed that most people that left poor reviews focused on one thing, and that was head bobbing. For some, I guess, the character's walk caused kind of a head bob that made them nauseous, and there wasn't a way to disable this in the settings. I'm not saying that's something that shouldn't be in the settings and easy to disable, but when the difference between a game being successful or not relies on a simple do you recommend this game or not, as a dev, it would be depressing to see my initial release opportunity lost because of this problem that I didn't even personally experience. My guess is that lower frame rates notice it more, like motion blur, although I always disable motion blur because I'm not a monster. The reviews have since started to go back up, but for a while there, I was afraid that this game would never leave people's wish list because of the initial damage.
I'm sorry it was such a disappointment.
To me, a rating that's literally based on a thumbs up or thumbs down is just not nuanced enough for the breadth of indie games and multiple reasons that might set one game apart from another. At the heart of it, while buying a $60 game that's an industry perfect 10 is undeniably a fair choice, I encourage people to also consider games that are a little more nuanced, but tailor more to a specific purpose. For example, a game might be pretty low effort in terms of graphics, but has difficult boss fights some AAA titles wouldn't for fear of alienating their varied player base. Or perhaps the game wasn't intended to create a polished game, but more akin to a quick sketch with the purpose of showing a unique twist on an idea that hasn't yet been expressed. These often come at rates much less than AAA titles, and for the price of one, you could have many experiences. The value proposition is frankly just in favor of indie games for me. I can tell that the devs truly love their creation, for good or for bad, and that's never quite so black and white. Which brings me back to the thumbs up, thumbs down review. I don't even see the benefit in a 1 to 10 number rating system where time is short for a small team that's decided what's more important for them in a release rather than a 60+ team of devs with specific talents. And so I've created what I think is a much better way to display these game stats. I stole it from Persona and Big Brain Academy. A radar chart! Yeah, this allows me to be more nuanced with my final reviews and help people quickly see what I believe the reviewed game does well. I'm almost certain I'll decide to change these or add new ones over time, but for now, these are the topics I'm looking at. And thusly, here's my rating for Paradise Lost. Now, I know this review is admittedly more a review on reviews than Paradise Lost, and I've struggled a lot with the direction of this channel. And so, looking forward, I just wanted to be able to look back at why I made the decisions that I made and why I hope this is the direction that I'll be able to take this channel moving forward. I've played thousands of indie games. I hope to play thousands more. Hopefully there's something I can add to this industry that really means a lot to me. Thanks for listening, learning, and loving. Until next time, peace out. A game might be pretty low effort in terms of graphics, but house difficult boss fights that some AAA titles wouldn't for fear of alienating their varied player base. That's impossible to say.